Survive Your Family at Christmas by William Missouri Downs is a Christmas farce with a heart. So I would say the style of the play is absurd realism. And what you're looking at is a family, the Nutt family, who is dealing with a tragedy that they've had in their family. And then they do so in these very comical and absurd ways. Their way to escape the reality of that tragedy is to terrorize Christmas carolers, or make soup, or I don't want to give all of the funny things that they do away, but they're sort of dealing with it in the best way that they know how and that they're capable of. And then to top it all off, their daughter is very unlike them. So the Nutt family is, a working class, Chicago, sort of old-fashioned in many ways family, and their daughter, this is set in 1975, sort of is an intellectual and went off to Harvard, and so there's some clashes there that are quite funny as well. And she brings home a boy, and chaos ensues, and then the town Catholic priest also factors into the story as well, and is one of our main characters. And then we have some zany Christmas carolers who want to spread cheer fervently and intensely, intense cheer. So yeah, I think that the basic plot centers around a family who had a tragedy, and they're all just dealing with it the best way they know how, and that feels a lot like life, doesn't it? This play is set in 1975, I think, for a couple of reasons. I think that it's a time before cell phones and internet and easy communication, so it makes it conceivable that perhaps their daughter went off to college and they haven't heard from her in 2 years. Whereas, right, if we were doing it now, mom has a fake Instagram account, is checking up on what their kids are doing in college, or there's more communication, right? And so I think it lays bare a lot of the family dynamics that maybe get either solved or smoothed over or hidden by some of the technology that we have today. I also think that when we're talking about absurd realism, the 70s was just so delightfully colorful and aesthetic and clashing, and it feels that all of the sort of plaid meets flowers meets paisley matches this sort of different moods you can find in the show. So some of what I love about the theater and why I choose to work in the theater as my medium is its proximity to real life, right? Like, it's the most, to paraphrase Susan Laurie Parks, it's the most like life art form there is, right? You have real humans on stage emoting, telling stories. And then, to quote another director, Arian Minushkin, who said, don't be afraid of the theatricality of theater, right? Because life is pretty theatrical and not always realistic. And so what I think this show does is tells a story in a lovely, heartfelt, funny way that feels a lot like real life and the most absurd parts of real life. And I think Christmas highlights those things too. Christmas is a magical time. We dress it up, we dress ourselves up. We have these moments of big family, the dramas come to the surface. And I think that this story at its heart is about forgiveness. And so I want the audiences to take home this idea that forgiveness is possible in any situation, even the most absurd ones. And I think that that's the beauty of this play, is this really, I keep using the word absurd, but it's this really zany, strange, over-the-top show that feels really real in terms of the story it's telling. And so hopefully that message of forgiveness that comes in for the Nutt family is something that people can carry home to their own holiday gatherings. It's been a hard couple of years, and hopefully we can bring some light and joy and silliness to the audience and have them leave feeling good and inspired and spreading that love to their families and to the broader world.